Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. So excited to be with you and share the news with you. Folks, I get so frustrated some days, but we have big stories to cover right now. And those stories, I'm sorry, I've got the wrong mic. Which mics? How's this working? Everybody hear me good? Did that mic switch work? I had the wrong mic on. Yeah, do chat in. Let me know how that worked. Do chat in with where you're from as well. And Southern Oregon's on the stream. I see Texas on the stream. I need to buy better coffee, Scoop says. Well, you can get some better coffee at mystore.com using promo code Lumberjack. Get some of that Mike Lindell coffee. Good. All right. So the mic is working. That's great. All right. So here's the deal, folks. We've got a couple big stories breaking out of Arizona. Dealing with some corruption down there in Maricopa County, of all places. This is dealing with Stephen Richer, Hickman, the whole lot down there. But there's also some big issues that took place in the U.S. House on two fronts that I need to cover with you. And I've got some video from the border that's going to blow your ever-loving mind as journalists who are covering the stories down there are getting arrested while the illegals are walking right around. It's going to piss you off. Okay, but anyways, it's all right. It's all right. Want to mention my sponsor really quick before we get into this, Midas Gold Group, MidasGoldGroup.com. You can also text Lumberjack to 232-425 and receive free silver with qualifying order. Or you can call them at 480-360-3000. Again, that's 480-360-3000. Mention this show, and again, receive free silver with qualifying order. These are veteran owners, not commissioned salespeople. It's where I buy my gold and silver. I believe you should have some, especially when you watch this first video. So I'm going to cover, I know a lot of people, as this stream populates, will come in for the Arizona news. So the first thing I'm going to do is share some news on, I think this is critically important. This is dealing with farming, and it's dealing with what just passed in the United States House of Representatives. This is disgusting. All right. So I'm going to share this video here with you, but Faffel Farm says this video is just a taste of things to come. The ridiculous omnibus bill that wants to track every cow in America passed. That's right. Overregulation and the death of small farms and ranches are coming. 100 worthless Republicans voted for it. Support your local farmers and ranchers. Things are about to get bad fairly quickly. 1% of the population feeds 99%. We can't make it without the people. We're in this together. Historically, the government getting overly involved in our agricultural system has led to mass famine and starvation. This is the time for civil disobedience and agricultural revolution. Will you stand with your local farmers and ranchers when they come for us? So, turns out the government isn't just after raw milk. Farmer says Oregon is going after small farmers selling food to their neighbors. Woman operating a farm for 7 years gets notice she can no longer operate without water rights. Permitting process to use your own water well. This is wild. So I watched the thing in its entirety. You're going to get to watch it too. Here we go.
Already shut down some farms. There's an injunction on the definition of the law until it can be heard in court, since the League of Justice or whoever they are have filed a court case in January to try and stop it. So currently, small dairy farmers, the way that I first read the article, you would think that they were going after, raw milk. That always seems to be the case with a lot of these things. But this is actually going after anybody, egg producers, anybody who has chickens that go up in a chicken house at night that may have a concrete floor that's easy for cleaning or whatever it is. And you have to go through a permitting process. And a lot of what they're requiring is just simply too much for the small farmer. So that's rule number one that's been impacting small farmers and is actually a part of an active court case right now. The second rule is one that I found fairly interesting. So in the state of Oregon, if you are using water, even groundwater, the only water that you can legally harvest and use without a permit is actually rainwater. Okay, but they consider all water in the ground a resource of the public, the people. Even if you have a private well on your property, that belongs to the people of Oregon, not you. So what they've said is basically if you're using it for commercial purposes, you have to have a permit. Now, there's an exemption to this rule. And this is a rule that went into place back in 2021, and then it has slowly rolled out to the point where market gardeners with a half acre of land are now receiving cease and desist orders saying you can't water your gardens.
Okay, people, do you understand how nuts this is? People with a half acre garden, market farmers, these are the people that show up at the farmer markets, are being told, you can't do this. You can't use this water because it's in the interest of the people. It's for the people, people. It's just nuts. Smash that like if you would, please. Chat in with where you're from. Let's get this stream going.
Another way to do it. So under this rule, there's an exemption for commercial and industrial use for up to 5,000 gallons per day. Okay, so these gardeners with a half acre of land are probably using 1,000 gallons of water a day.
In other words, people, this is government overreach again because they are not using over 5,000 gallons a day. In fact, in the chat, answer this question for me. Does this make any sense to you? Is this something you would support, going after people with half-acre gardens, going to the farmer market?
Not even 1,000 gallons of water a day. You would think that they're saying you're a commercial business because if you are growing food for yourself, they still allow you to utilize water from your well to grow a half-acre garden, up to a half-acre garden. There's a limit on that. But this is the story I read was about a half-acre market garden where the lady has been growing food and selling it to neighbors. It's been her primary income source. And they shut her down. Christina Del Campo has just over a half acre. She grows blueberries, local vegetables, things like that. Her farm is called Oak Song Farm near Eugene. She's operated there for 7 years, and she recently received a letter from the regional office of the Oregon Water Resources Department. It was a notification that the farm couldn't irrigate its commercial crops without a water right. According to Mike McCord, the Northwest Region Manager, water is a finite resource. The system of appropriation has been in place since 1909 in Oregon. It allows us to better manage the resource by having a permitting system. So this exemption for 5,000 gallons a day, which...
So you see, people, I want you to understand what he just said there. This is all in your best interest. See, what you don't understand is that they're out for your good. For your good, people. That's why the government is doing this, okay? This is, I think you guys are misreading them. I mean, I think you're not understanding their true motives, their altruistic motives, people. But it's worse than that. In that omnibus bill, there is a cattle tracker where each cow must be tagged with an electronic tracking device that opens the beef processing plants, one owned by China and the other owned by Brazil, the right to decide if they'll accept the cattle based on the owner's social credit scores. Ranchers are warning the public that the industry is being taken over by our own government, and our own government is assisting the takeover. Now, what you need to understand is you can get around this. You can, please, just go find a local farmer in your area, get a few other people together, a few families, and say, hey, we'd like to buy a cow from you. Okay? So you go tell them, hey, I want to buy a cow from you, and you've got 4 of you, so you can buy a whole cow. Each of you gets a quarter, and then you ask them to just transport it to a local butcher shop, and the butcher butchers it. You get your beef, and all this crap is cut out. That's what it's going to take. We need to change how we're buying, okay? I keep some cattle on my property. When I go to butcher, sometimes if we're not using it all, some friends will go in, they'll get part of the beef, whatever. We got to change this. We got to take power out of the corporations. You guys saw what went on with Tyson Foods, okay? They don't care. They don't care about you. They just want your money. As soon as we pull our money away, they're going to start caring, okay? Now, this is the first Maricopa County story that we're going to get into, shared by Marissa Hamilton on X, okay? Fire Maricopa County. Several citizens have been going to Maricopa County meetings for months, asking them to remove the child farm books from the libraries. In response, Clint Hickman had Rachel Mitchell's office have an attorney present to govern our public comment. That's right. You need an attorney present when people are speaking about this stuff. The response by Maricopa County Bill Gates, Thomas Gavin, Jack Sellers, Clint Hickman is us asking to remove this ridiculous content, people, from the libraries has been to ban us bringing water to the meetings. I guess it seems like water's a problem everywhere, man. It's not just the farmers. It's these darn people. You can't have them hydrated to speak at meetings. So you can't bring water bottles. I suppose they figure it's going to be like a bomb. It's just ridiculous. Have the Maricopa County attorney attend meetings to bully us into silence and then falsely claim we are disrupting the meetings, and now have us escorted by the sheriff's department's deputies to the podium. So yes, they have to be escorted by the sheriff's deputies to the podium. It is a power play, plain and simple. I mean, if people don't see this, they're asleep at the wheel. There are people running in Maricopa County that are not like this, but I want to show you video from this meeting where a lady addresses the child porn issues, the books.
Previously, I spoke about ARS 13-3553. This is where it is illegal for people to distribute sexually explicit materials to minors. Since the county attorney is here, I'd request the county attorney to look into this, because you are also the library board, and I've now found that there's many books, one genderqueer that I spoke about last time. The author is now on the record saying that this book wasn't made for kids, but you have it in the library section for the kids. I personally don't think our library should have any porn books in it, but especially child porn books.
Okay, guys, did you notice the lady behind her? Must be a lefty, must be a liberal. See, no, we can't ban these books. I mean, she wanted to say something. Oh, shoot, then it went backwards.
That the author said shouldn't be there. There's also the books It's Perfectly Normal, Dancing in My Nutty Pants, which encourages kids to be naked and sexual with each other. There's a book called Tell Me,
really?
Making a Baby. There's another book called It's So Amazing. These books are graphic, that you would not allow me to speak the words here before you. So I'd ask the county attorney.
So again, this is material that she can't bring to the meeting and talk about in a public forum, but they have them for kids. This is nuts.
To please look into this, protect our kids. I know our county attorney has done a lot to protect kids, but not in our libraries.
You just got the full.
Okay, now hold on, because this next video clip I'm going to save here because we got to finish this story. So now I want to continue on with Arizona. All right, let's see here. I got to get to. Oh, I should actually talk about that first. Well, no, I am going to talk about this first. Then we'll get into the Arizona story where Stephen Richer is involved. So I don't know if you guys heard about this, but it turns out we got a major problem in the U.S. Congress because, have you guys noticed? Now, I think those of you who follow me know that I'm typically not big on limitless conspiracies, but it is tough to find any other meaning to this. Breaking: GOP sabotage. Republican Congressman from Wisconsin, Mike Gallagher, just announced that he is resigning from Congress effective April 19th, 2024, citing family considerations, but only after it is impossible to hold a special election. Okay, you guys saw Kevin McCarthy left the House. You saw Ken Buck in Colorado and so on, where now we are down to a 1-seat majority, okay? They're not your friends, people. Note, his departure further reduces the GOP's already narrow majority in the House of Representatives. According to Wisconsin law, his seat cannot be filled until after the November election if he resigns as planned. Note, however, if he resigns before the second Tuesday in April, a special election could be held to fill the vacancy before November. So it's a conservative district. They could get another conservative rep in there, but instead, this is going on. Wake and Outlaw posted, knowing he's leaving the GOP with the slenderest advantage in the House, 1 vote, Gallagher could simply choose to resign 4 days earlier. But nope, that's not what he's doing. The family matter that's so urgent he has to resign from Congress apparently isn't urgent enough not to leave his district and half the damn country hanging in the balance. What a disgrace. The uniparty is real, and you're seeing them out themselves in real time. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull this out here for a sec, but I want you to think about this. 1 seat advantage. Now, I know what the bill that got voted on was disgusting, but I am also thinking to myself, with the uniparty establishment hacks, is that the best Johnson could do? I mean, is it at this point? I mean, can he not bring that conference together because there's so much anti-Trump sentiment, anti-America First sentiment in the conference that he can't get them to come into line? The Republicans aren't sticking together. I mean, you get this. So how is Mike Johnson supposed to handle that? I'm not, I want to see in the chat here. I want to get your comments on this, but how is he supposed to deal with that kind of a Congress that is literally willing to resign and leave with a 1-seat majority when 4 days would make the difference and the Republicans could have a 2-seat majority? Okay. I want to know. So see, this is the problem, and everybody's floating this idea. So I'm going to pull up Rico Suave's comment. We're going to end up with Hakeem Jeffries and a play to remove Trump in 25. It's not even so much about removing him. I mean, at that point, it would be about not certifying the vote. I mean, this is a possibility. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I actually don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to work, even if that's what they want to have happen. And I don't think we're ending up with Hakeem Jeffries. So you can put that one down for me. But you really have to wonder what they're up to at this point, don't you? I mean, it's obviously not good. It's obviously not good. MyPillow.com, promo code Lumberjack, save up to 66%. If you go to MyPillow.com, go to the radio right on the front, the radio page with Mike Lindell, and enter promo code Lumberjack. All those promos are available. They just made those all available to my listeners with the promo code. The $25 extravaganza specials, people, go check it out. That includes the My Towels. It includes the kitchen towels. It includes the premium My Pillows and so on. So go check it out. We also have the Percale sheets for $39.98 still, and free shipping for my audience. So you guys get the best deals with promo code Lumberjack. We're in a big chance that we're going to lose majority. It could happen at this point. I mean, this is crazy. All they need is another retirement. So big betrayals there. But let's get to this story about Stephen Richer and what is going on down in Arizona, because he has just been found guilty of doing some things that are not so good, people. Gosh. All right, let's see if I find the right. I don't like StreamYard's interface. I'm trying to change this stuff up all the time. But here you go. Maricopa County Recorder had his staff compile news on his personal defamation lawsuit against Kari Lake. So what you have going on in Arizona now is government officials using employees for their own personal lawsuits. You literally cannot make this stuff up. If you want to file a personal defamation lawsuit, that's okay. But you don't get to use government staff to do so. Okay? Let's get right into this one. Public records revealed that Maricopa County Recorder Stephen Richer tasked staff with compiling articles and online content pertaining to his personal defamation lawsuit against Kari Lake, Senate candidate and 2022 gubernatorial candidate, as well as topics of personal political interest. Richer was also tasked staff with printing his favorite articles and pieces of online content from these lengthy daily news compilations and organizing them in a binder. You know, politicians seem to be obsessed with binders. Remember Mitt Romney and his binders of women? And then the top secret binder that they're looking for. I'm saying binders seem to be a thing. Okay. Richard filed his defamation lawsuit last June against Lake over her claims of him improperly administering the 2022 election. Lake has unsuccessfully petitioned to dismiss the lawsuit. Her petition was denied earlier this month. The county recorder staff weren't just tasked with tracking online chatter about Richard's personal lawsuit. This is where it gets crazy, people. Records reveal that Richard has regularly tasked staff with tracking a wide variety of media reports and other online content on topics of personal political interest. This included coverage of other elected officials in Arizona and across the nation, the political landscape for the 2024 election, the indictments against former President Donald Trump, developments in social media, and updates on various public policies. Some news and online content gathered by staff touched on legal challenges to free speech. There you go, people. They're after your speech. And this is interesting. As this goes on, you're going to see that what Stephen Richards' purposes are here. That prompted AZ Free News to ask Richard about this, right? In response to the questions, this is what he said. Providing leadership with news clips relating to the office and regarding current events is a standard practice. It has been a practice of this office for the past 3 years. And it was originally implemented by staff from former Senator McSally's office, where it was a standard practice, who joined the recorder's office in 2021. Wait now. They just said this has been long-standing standard practice, but it just started 3 years ago. Do you see how they're having it both ways here? Recorder Richard values news and being aware of developments. Of course he does, but listen to this. Richard's office did not respond to a repeat of questions left unanswered by their statements. What bearing the content gathered had on Richard's personal defamation lawsuit leading up to it, and why the recorder tasked staff with compiling news coverage of his personal defamation lawsuit, as well as topics of personal interest unrelated to the recorder's office. So they're trying to say, well, wait, now this is just, he's just such a urbane and sophisticated dude. He needs a binder because he's just up on national news. He's up on this news, that news. But really, the news he's most concerned about is restricting free speech and his personal defamation lawsuit and other issues that are completely unrelated to his job. In September 2021, the recorder drafted a proposal for greater restrictions on free speech in an unpublished op-ed pitched to the National Review. Richard argued that speech restrictions should be expanded, even if the wrongs of 2020 election claims were righted through avenues such as lawsuits against Fox. Fox, of course, Dominion prevailed there. There's all kinds of stuff coming out on this now, though. It's kind of interesting. Even if Dominion wins these lawsuits, and certainly if it does not, it still might be time to revisit our First Amendment jurisprudence, wrote Richard. If we don't, I fear that the morass of disinformation will blanket over legitimate information in all areas of public import, people. This is his greatest concern, is you speaking on issues that he might not want you talking about. This is wild to me because I've never thought this way. I thought you just counter inappropriate speech or lies with the truth. But that's not good enough for them. They want you just shut down. I think we'd still be open to a version of this argument, but that sheds the bits about reconsidering First Amendment jurisprudence, said Butler, even just revising it to express the hope that Dominion lawsuits have their desired effect. National Review denied the op-ed, okay? But it goes on here. Yes, I think it's possible that our First Amendment jurisprudence needs to change, said Richard. That's it. Stephen Richard, man. Utilizing the Arizona taxpayer dollars. It's just crazy. Look at this, people. I'm going to share this. I'm going to share a post from my good friend George on X. Look at this. And then I'm going to share a video from the border that's going to blow your mind. Breaking, this federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit challenging D.C.'s non-citizen voting law. Judge Amy Berman Jackson ruled that plaintiffs did not show how non-citizen voters have harmed them. They don't need to show how non-citizen voters have harmed them. Non-citizens just don't get to vote. This is, who the hell comes up with this kind of stuff? Oh, somebody who's friends with Merrick Garland, that's who. They may object as a matter of policy to the fact that immigrants get to vote at all, but their votes will not receive any less weight or be treated different than non-citizens' votes. They are not losing representation in any legislative body, nor have citizens as a group been discriminately gerrymander, packed, or cracked to divide, concentrate, or devalue their votes. Does that make sense to any of you out there? Any of you, does that make sense? That non-citizens voting doesn't dilute your vote. That's what she's saying. You're not harmed by this. I mean, well, heck, why don't we just have the rest of the world vote? Why do they have to be on American soil? Just mail out ballots to everybody in the world. Frickin' stupid. Sorry, having a moment. Having a moment, people. All right, now watch this from the border.
We just got the full border experience. We're down here shooting our next episode of Law and Border. We came up on 60 to 70 illegals that have been sitting there all day. Basically, Border Patrol said they didn't have time to deal with them. And as we're coming out, this happened. So I'm actually in the back of a Border Patrol car right now. As we're coming back filming the invasion of our country, we're actually stopped by Border Patrol and law enforcement. They're bringing each one of us out of the vehicle with our hands above our head and behind our backs, guns drawn.
Look at this. I mean, guns drawn on the journalists exposing this while the migrants are just walking across. That's so stupid.
Like we're criminals, while Washington, D.C. is supporting the cartels.
So he's making a great point here. They're after the journalists while Washington, D.C. supports the cartels. And okay, so we have from that other video or from the other report we just saw, the judge saying non-citizens aren't diluting your vote. And now these people are getting. Does this make sense to anyone? Yes or no?
And all while this is happening, we've got 60 illegals just standing by the wall. No problem. They can walk on in. Brandon just got added into this vehicle. And now he's actually in handcuffs.
Brought out of the car at gunpoint.
The guy's name is Brandon. Too funny. I'm sorry. We just got to see Brandon arrested in the back of a cop car with handcuffs. Just enjoy that moment for a second, folks. I mean, here we go again. Let's see Brandon in handcuffs.
And now he's actually in handcuffs.
Brought out of the car at gunpoint with handcuffs.
While our country's being invaded.
Doesn't he look like a dangerous dude? But Brandon in handcuffs. Oh, the dream right there. It's the wrong Brandon, though.
We're down here exposing the invasion. They're more worried about us than they are about the 60 guys that are back behind us, that they're just letting stay here. We are sitting in a patrol car. We got Harry in another one. We got Jack in another one, and Ben in the other one. This is insane. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units out here dealing with us that are just exposing what Joe Biden's doing. They don't care about them. They care about us. Unbelievable, guys. God bless law enforcement, but let's go Brandon. This guy's got to go. This whole administration. Bad boys, what you gonna do? You gotta say that. It's so good. All right, guys. So here we go. We're safe. We're free. We're not arrested. But guarantee you one thing: CNN, MSNBC, Fox, they haven't done what we just did. No. Full experience. I love that. Full interactive experience. And we were gentlemen. We were gentlemen.
Well, we complied.
Yep. God bless them. God bless our law enforcement. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty eye-opening, isn't it? What do you guys think of that one? Okay. Hey, I got to show you, too. If you want to get these $25 extravaganza deals, here's what you do. You go to mypillow.com. Okay. You just go to the main page, mypillow.com. Then you scroll down here. And we're here where Mike's face is, and it says radio podcast specials. Click that. Okay. Then you just enter your promo code Lumberjack and apply. Now you're going to get free shipping on orders over $75. And look at this. The 4-pack dish towels are $25. The 6-piece towel sets $25. These are the best deals ever. The percale sheets. Okay. And actually with mine, it's $39.98 with the king set. It's an even better deal than you see here. Slide sandals, $25. Multi-use my pillows, $25. I love these. These are the roll and go. The dog beds for $25. All that stuff, $25. Look at this. It just keeps going. The Giza Premium My Pillow, $25. Regularly, $69.98 or king size. I always go with queen size pillows. I don't like king size pillows. But look at this. Bathrobes, all of it. Down comforters, people. Limited time offer, 60% off the down comforters right now. So phenomenal deals over at mypillow.com with promo code Lumberjack. Go over and get yourself some. Now let's get on to another one. Tell you, this is a fun one because this is a lefty freaking out. And I don't know how many of you know who this dude is, the author, but he's the economist, Pulitzer Prize winning economist for the New York Times, who said when Trump got elected to sell everything because everything's going to tank. And then everything took off like a rocket ship. Okay. And he's complaining about Ohio right now because Ohio is gone. Listen to this. You guys, this is going to be fun. You're going to get some good laughs. And for many years, Ohio has been thought of as a bellwether state. With rare exceptions, whoever won Ohio in a presidential election won the nation as a whole. But in 2020, Donald Trump won Ohio by about 8 points, even as Joe Biden led the national popular vote. The Ohio's 2022 Senate election was won by J.D. Vance, who has staked out a hard-line ideological position that may be thoroughly mega than that of Trump, more thoroughly mega, okay? And in the Tuesday state Senate primary, Trump's endorsement was enough to propel Bernie Moreno, a former car dealer who's never held elected office. Praise God, we need more people who haven't held elected office. So I've been trying to understand. Look, folks, he's been trying to understand. He's lamenting what happened to Ohio and what can it teach us about America's future. Okay. Talks about, that it looked like America and so on. You might expect Ohio voters to support politicians whose policies would help reverse the decline. That's exactly what Trump's policies did. See, Trump's policies in all these Rust Belt states reverse the decline of those small towns. So now he's going to give us some facts. This is the guy who can't get anything right on the economy. One quick way to see a divergence in regional fortunes is to compare blah, 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 per capita income of a given state with income in a relatively rich state like Massachusetts. During the generation-long boom that formed around World War II, Ohio and Massachusetts were basically tied. Since around 1980, however, Ohio has been on a long relative slide. Its income is now about a third less than that of Massachusetts. So here's what's interesting about this. That's because they have offshored all our manufacturing. So what you have in Massachusetts is this managerial, financial class, a bunch of people with finance degrees who don't do a darn thing and somehow rape and pillage the country. And he talks about the foreign competition. But see, the problem is we don't need it to be like that. Okay. More broadly, the 21st century economy has favored metropolitan areas with highly educated workforce. Ohio, with its relatively low share of college-educated adults, has been left behind. That's right. He's right about this. But the problem is you don't need a college education to actually be the backbone of America. We need more welders. We need more people in the manufacturing sector and various jobs. And these fools in the managerial class have taken it away. Here, we'll do some super chat here. If candidates don't receive enough electoral votes because Kennedy gets some, then Democrat majority in House gets to pick the next president. That's why Trump haters quit early. Okay, let me address this one because I keep seeing this idea floated. Michael, Kennedy isn't going to get any electoral votes. He's not going to get jack. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry. Trump will get the electoral votes. They can try those kinds of machinations all they want, but that's just not happening. There's a lot of theories being floated around out there right now. And I just want you to kind of keep the faith and hold the line, Michael, because this isn't going to happen. It's a non-starter. I just he's not going to win any states. Kennedy is not going to win any states, and these states award all their electoral votes to the winners, except for a couple that are divided, and there's just not enough there. It's really going to come down to key states like Pennsylvania is the big one, people, and it's the one that you should be most concerned about. If you live in Pennsylvania, do everything you can to register voters, get people voting for Trump. So, Michael, I just want you to keep the faith. I want you to know that that's just it's just not going to happen. I just want you to know that's an idea I see getting floated around a lot right now. But it's just not, because Kennedy's not going to get the votes. And actually, Kennedy running, when you see him put in the mix, yeah, he pulls some votes from Donald Trump, but he pulls more for Joe Biden. So once you add in like Kennedy and Stein and who's that other crazy, that Cornel West, and you add them into the mix, Trump actually goes up in the poll numbers in terms of the margin by which he wins. So, you would need both candidates to be, 269 in the Electoral College, because it's 270 to win. That's just not going to happen. That idea is not going to work. I'd be more concerned about the idea of another retirement by a cowardly Republican, and somehow Hakeem Jeffries getting the speakership and then not wanting to certify the Electoral College vote. I'd be more concerned about things like that. That's what I'd be concerned about. I mean, it's not that I don't believe there's nothing that these freaks won't try at this point, but that's the kind of stuff that's not going to go well for them, people. I'm not going to tell you how that ends. Perish the thought. I don't want it to come to that, but yeah, it's not going to end well if they do that. So it's that would be the death of the republic. And believe you me, there's plenty of people in this country who aren't gonna sit by and watch that one. If their voice is so unheard, that it's so flagrant and so open that they won't even get, and believe me, they've been talking about it. I don't want you to think they haven't. So that's why I tell people, get some gold, some silver, guns, ammo, some freeze-dried food. I do have a link for My Patriot Supply down there, but you can make your own freeze-dried food too if you have a freeze dryer, or you can dehydrate, but you should have a few months of food storage around. I'm not a crazy prepper. I mean, I live off grid. People think, oh, Neil, you're not a crazy prepper. You live off grid on almost hundreds of acres of land and whatever, and with water and property and everything. But that's just makes sense to me. But you better be ready. And people always talk about, well, what they're going to trade. Well, the thing is, if you don't have to trade, believe me, it's always been a modicum of exchange. Gold and silver have always been a modicum of exchange. So, so that you can see the banner down on the bottom if you want to get some. Again, veteran owners, not commissioned salespeople. It's just what it is. Good night's sleep will be important. Get yourself some MyPillow, get some of those big deals going on there. But really, you just know what could happen, but don't think that it's going to happen. Does that make sense to everybody? I mean, you have to prepare for the worst, but live for the best. I don't ever want to have to use my gold and silver. I mean, if that happens, okay. Thanks, Michael. If that happens, it's not good. I don't want that, but I'm still going to have some. It's never been worth nothing. The dollar keeps going backwards. Okay. So I hope I'm making sense to y'all. Am I making sense? How do I say this? So in the Christian circles, and I'm I'm a believer in the Bible and all that, there's a thought process that some people are like, oh, Jesus is coming. He's coming right he's coming back. And then they align their whole lives so they don't prepare for their future here on earth. And then, it's foolishness. They say, well, why should I even do that? Because, the world's going to end, whatever, 6 months. I don't know. That's not a bright way to live. You've got to plan ahead. Always keeping faith that you're in God's hands and the world's in God's hands, and those that are the remnant, those that believe in him, those that seek relationship with him are going to be fine. And then hope for the best and prepare for the worst. It's always, it's a statement too, prepare for war, but hope for peace, pray for peace, prepare for war, pray for peace. I mean, this is how you live, like ants. You live like an ant. I heard this once. What do ants do? They think winter all summer and summer all winter. They're always working. They're getting it done. That's what you need to do. All right. Okay. I hope I'm making sense. People get too worried. They get way too worried about this stuff. And you can't sit there and live in worry and fear. Okay. Think about how bad it was in the days of Noah and the flood. No one righteous, not one. Okay. We all get down. This news will get you down. If you don't get a little down with the news sometimes, you're not looking at this realistically. Sorry. Okay. But it doesn't mean you need to live dispirited. All right. So again, if you want to get some gold and silver, go check that out, or MyPillow. I showed you earlier how to get those big savings. These savings are huge, people. They're huge. So love y'all. Peace out. All right.